My device does not, is not compatible to visual background. I'll just want get IT people to come and assist me.
But it looks good. It must keep it, Chi. It looks good.
I must keep the bookshelf.
Yes.
No, I don't want to appear like a bookworm to people.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I just have to find the department back quickly.
All right.
Hi, Chi.
Yes, my dear.
Hi, Chi. We've got an apology from both the minister and the deputy minister. The deputy minister sent an apology, it was on Sunday, in fact, and then the minister sent an apology, I think it was yesterday at some point. I can't think it was it was late yesterday. We received an apology from the minister also.
Because of the cabinet.
Mm.
No, I will speak to the deputy president, but these people
Mm.
Yeah, because if my meetings is on Wednesday, then it means I can't have the minister every time.
Mm.
And yeah, I'll just check with the chief.
Okay.
How we do with it.
Yeah.
But for now, if the DG is there, because it's APP and budget, can be able to deal with any matter arising.
Okay.
But it's something that needs to be resolved because Wednesday is cabinet and our meetings is on Wednesday every time. So yeah,
okay,
we will have to look into it.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Just let me let you know because I don't know if I forwarded the apology, but the one from the minister came quite late yesterday.
Okay. Have you noted the apology of Smith as well?
Yes, I saw that yesterday. I saw that this morning, Chief.
And Honorable Mukause, I think she's also having bereavement.
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks,
No,
Chief.
that's fine.
Morning, Chairperson.
Hi, Mama.
Hi,
Mama,
Mama.
don't strain
Eh?
your voice, please. Don't strain your voice, please.
Hey.
That voice is too horrible.
Mama, just, you know,
Yeah.
when you are a soldier one way, you soldier on.
At night, you know,
Morning, Mom, baby.
Yes, morning, Baba. How are you, Baba?
I'm good. I'm good.
Chairman.
I'm getting there, don't worry.
Hey. Yeah. You must be fine.
Yeah, Putti.
You must be fine.
Hi, I'm soldiering on, you know. You name it. Yeah, I had to team with everything that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'll be okay, then, guys, don't worry.
Okay, no, fine.
Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm okay, Putti. Sure. Well,
Hi, Chi.
Morning, my dear.
Hi, Chi. Chi, we're just waiting for the department. Otherwise, we've got sufficient members to start.
Yeah, check with them because we have got by-elections today.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to check with him, Chi.
Okay.
Chair? Ndata Matibe?
Yebo.
Lekera.
How are you?
After your meeting, after your meeting, I requested for re adopt the report.
Yes.
Okay.
When you must tell Askat to log in, maybe
No,
around 11.
Yeah, we will use this very same what do you call it?
Platform.
Link. The very same link, because it's only to accept the the report. If there are corrections, we correct it.
Okay, no problem.
Because if we don't do that, it's going to be a problem for next week, the debate. It's a report or environment, and next week we are debating the environment.
All right.
No, thanks.
Yeah, Aska must log in. And...
No, he will do that.
Okay.
No, thanks.
Honorable Modisi, hi. I've already shared the link with Aska and we've spoken. So he's going to log in just before our meeting ends.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
He's going to send it to the other support staff as well.
Okay, no, thank you.
Chair, I just spoke to the PLO. She said that the DG and the rest of the delegation are just busy concluding in another meeting and they will be joining us at 10 o'clock.
No problem. As long as they joined.
But it's 10 now, Chairperson.
You are saying?
I'm saying it's 10 o'clock now.
It's 1 minute to Honorable.
Yeah, it's like it's done.
Yeah, it's already 10. We'll
Yeah.
push them to join in, otherwise they must not delay us.
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable members, it's 10 o'clock now. We just gonna have 3 minutes to allow those who are joining in to join. And committee secretary have all the department people joined in, those who are supposed to join.
No, Chair. So far, I just see one of the chief directors and the CFO. The DG still has not logged in. I just spoke to the PLO now, and she said she's going to follow up to find out what the delay is. But we were told they were supposed to join us at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. We'll just give them 5 minutes because they must prioritize. They can't have other meetings when the select committee is sitting. Speak to the PLO that the most important meeting is this one.
Mm.
Chair.
Yeah.
Chair.
Yeah.
Chair.
Honorable Nyambi?
Yes, I thought maybe you are making a mistake. Their 10 o'clock is the one of United States of America, not the one of South Africa.
No, they must use the South African one. They must use the South African one. Morning, Honorable Nyambi.
Morning, Chair. That was only lighter note.
Chairperson.
Morning, Papa.
Morning,
Morning,
Honorable.
Mama. Morning, hot
Honorable
chocolate.
Morning,
chocolate.
Honorable Nana.
Chairperson, Honorable Nyambi is never in our meetings. He must not come and disturb us here. He must be in order.
Maybe when the time when Honorable Nyambi was in the meeting, when you were absent.
Yeah, no, he was not.
Because always Mr. Honorable Nyambi is in the meeting, Honorable Nana.
Mama,
and how are you, Honorable Nana?
Mama, I can see that. Mama, I can see that Honorable Chocolate is missing me big time. That is why it's coming stories.
He's just missing Cape Town.
Yeah.
Are we fine, certain?
Yes, Chair, the DG's just logged on, Chair.
Okay. Morning, honorable members, and morning to the DG. Thank you very much for logging into our meeting. We want to take this opportunity to welcome honorable members and the delegation from the department as led by the Director General. We have received the apology, the Minister, because of our meeting. Today is not a very good meeting, a good time. We had shifted our meetings to at least late in the afternoon because of the plenaries. We had to reshuffle it back to 10 o'clock so that we can accommodate plenaries. So you are all welcomed, honorable members. Today, it's a very busy day. In some constituencies, there are by-elections and honorable members need to be there on the ground. We can just indicate, Secretary, if there are further apologies that has been received. I saw the apology of Honorable Smith and the apology of Honorable Mukause. I don't know whether there are further apologies.
Yes, Chair, we've also received an apology from Honorable Gwenya. She said that she'll be joining the meeting at 10:30, but she will be joining, but she'll be joining the meeting late.
Okay. Do we have any other apology, honorable members? Okay. No, that's fine. Thank you very much. Can we, DG, you are welcome. We were a bit worried that 10 o'clock and you have not yet logged in, but you are here now. We are going to allow you to make a presentation of the APP and budget, and then we'll engage. So I'm handing over to you to do the presentations, and you will do it. If it is to be given to any other person, I'm handing over to you. Thank you.
A very good morning, Honorable Chair, and apologies for joining slightly late. I was just finishing off running between meetings. Today we were called to the Select Committee. We're also being called to the Portfolio Committee on Military Veterans. We're expected to also make a presentation on CETA, and we'll also have Cabinet where then there's just one item for us. Our sincere apologies, Chair. We're just trying to juggle everything. But we are honored to always be invited to come and present to the Select Committee. More so, Chair, because as you know that our department is one of those that does not have provincial presence. So it is very difficult, and therefore we rely heavily with regards to all stakeholders to assist us in terms of ensuring that we do enhance our service delivery and that we actually, with Parliament more so, they assist us to ensure that there is no particular part of the country that is left out. For this department, the focus certainly is on connectivity in the main, and the second part is then transforming our communities in the 4IR space and building on the digital economy. Honorable Chair and honorable members, you would note that our presentation this morning on the annual performance plan, whilst we've already commenced with the medium-term strategic framework of government, there has been some adjustments. This has been in the main due to the fact that the President had endorsed the 4IR report, to which then this department was tasked to coordinate the implementation of the 4IR plan for the country. The second issue in terms of the country responding to the economic recovery following obviously the COVID, as well as then the current economic climate. We also then had to come up with programs that are going to be responsive in this terrain. Certainly, as you would know, we came up with what we have in the presentation, the digital economy master plan that seeks then to reposition the country, to then attract investment as well as partnership in terms of building on their digital infrastructure and the digital development and technologies, but then also looking at issues related to advancing your digital skills. Our entities are also involved in that. As you would know, that SAPO continues to disperse social grants as well as then the special grants during COVID, working with the Department of Social Development as well as SASSA. We also have been tasked through CETA to fast track the issue of e-government in order to ensure and digitize all government platforms, and so that we can enhance on the service delivery and be responsive to the citizens' needs. Our entities, the ones dealing with infrastructure, they've had to also ensure, honorable members, that then they also improve on the digital infrastructure. Mindful of as I said, the current issues with regards to COVID, we've learned hard lessons where then the children could not attend school, and we had to come in to look at issues related to virtual learning, as well as coming up with digital classrooms. The biggest constraint we would want to highlight in all these programs for us has been budget constraints, which we will also talk upon that. It is unfortunate that even for this year, currently, our entities dealing with infrastructure connectivity have not received funding. So we are now relying heavily on the private-public partnership to try then to advance the delivery of the connectivity. We're also then, at least we're happy that the operators have been keen to expand on their network connectivity, as the minister presented in the budget vote speech yesterday evening. But we're also working on other programs, as well as submitting proposals with regards to expansion of broadband. In the main, it's the household connectivity, which we're working with National Treasury as well as Presidency for the funding for that. So our APP this year, Chair, has made those adjustments. I also want to indicate that following the APP, as you know, that the President then announced the local government election dates. So the SABC, as well as then the regulator, are also working earnestly to ensure that we deliver and we keep then the communities connected, and also then ICASA looks at the regulations thereof. Our biggest hindrance, apart from the budget limitations, certainly then is regarding the interdict that we faced with regards to the spectrum auctioning, because we had hoped and relied heavily on the auctioning of spectrum. In order then the funding for that would go back to the fiscus to support the programs of government. But more than anything else, we'd also want to ensure that we move the country in terms of the digital connectivity, expanding, and also even then the licensing of the WAN would see not only the transformation of its sector, but also address the issues related to competition and result therefore in cheaper data cost for our citizens. We're still continuing, the minister is still negotiating with all mobile operators as well as the regulator to try to find an out-of-court settlement, with then the intent for us then to try and move forward on this. We are hoping still that the auctioning as well as then the license of the WAN will proceed within this calendar year. So we will continue to keep Parliament updated on that. Without further delay, Honourable Chair, on that background, I would like to hand over to DDG Manzini as well as Mr. Farad Osman to take us through the annual performance plan and budget for the department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DG, and thank you, honorable members. Mr. Farad Osman will take us through DG, the first part, and CFO will deal with the financials. Thank you.
Thank you, DDG. Good morning, Honorable Chair, honorable members, and ADG and colleagues. I'll just run you through the key priorities of the department in the APP. This slide just provides the approach of that we adopted as a department towards developing the annual performance plan. It was a review of last year's performance plan. So it obviously takes into consideration the revised MTSF that the DG alluded to, especially considering the changes and how it impacts on the department over the MTSF period, the NDP, the Minister Performance Agreement, etc., as well as looking at the sector trends and the positioning essay towards 4IR stemming from the PC4IR recommendations report, as the DG also alluded to. And then considering that we are still feeding off the 2020 to 25 strategic plan, the impact statement and the outcomes are still relevant, which are then informed the APP targets. And we then obviously try to align it with available resources, which was quite challenging considering the budget cuts that the DG has already alluded to. I think I'm going to move on from these slides, but it basically covers our vision, mission, and mandate as a department, which is the DCDT. In terms of outcomes, impact and outcomes, as mentioned, these are still relevant from the current strategic plan, the 2020 to 25 strategic plan. The impact statement that we are working towards is to have a digitally enabled citizens with secure and affordable universal access. Obviously, this is to digital technologies. There's 4 outcomes that we have within the strategic plan. The first one is enabling digital transformation policies and strategies, which houses all our policy and strategy work and including the relevant strategies that we will then cover now in the APP itself. And then in terms of all our digital infrastructure projects fall under outcome 2. Transform digital society is outcome 3. And then the last one, which has both an internal and external focus, is meaning it deals with the department itself and as well as the portfolio at large, is the one related to high performing portfolio to enable achievement of their respective mandates. I think on the right, you'll see the number of targets that we have assigned to each one of these outcomes that contribute to achieving these outcomes. And the bulk of the work falls under outcome 1, the policies and strategies. I'll just take you through each of the outcomes and what are the key priorities for the upcoming financial year, or the financial year we're currently in. The first one is around development of 2 country positions to support the national ICT priorities, focus on BRICS WTDC. So that should be 21 actually. That's run by the that's the International Affairs branch. So basically here we're looking at development of 2 positions and advancing such positions, as well as developing outcomes reports for implementation. Also within the international on the agenda, we have the implementation of the International Relations Engagement Strategy that needs to be coordinated. Basically, this was a strategy that was revised and approved in the last financial year, revised in line with the new mandate of the DCDT. And this will entail implementing and monitoring such implementation of the initiatives within the strategy. Now, looking at the policy development and research branch initiatives, in terms of our legislative program, we will be submitting the South African Post Office SOC Limited Amendment Bill to Cabinet for approval to introduce to Parliament. This will also include submission to Cabinet for public consultation, then followed by final approval and introduction to Parliament. With regards to the data and cloud policy, that's already been finalized. So in this financial year, we're looking at monitoring its implementation. We actually will firstly finalize it by obtaining Cabinet approval and then focus on its implementation from Q3 onwards. In terms of the regulatory reform bill, where we're looking at reconfiguring all of the current regulators within the portfolio, we'll develop the business case for the regulatory reform bill in this current financial year. The Digital Economy Master Plan, which was recently approved in the last financial year, will then coordinate the implementation of this Digital Economy Master Plan in the current financial year. In terms of the ICT SME strategy, we do have one currently, but what we'll be doing is finalizing the revision of the strategy, which entails revision of the strategy aligned to the PC4R report, the recommendations, as well as the Digital Economy Master Plan. And then we'll be submitting this for Cabinet for public consultation approval, and then subsequently to Cabinet for final approval. In terms of the cost to communicate, we'll be conducting a study on the cost to communicate to inform the revision of the cost to communicate program towards developing a fit for purpose program of action for the cost to communicate. Still with the same outcome in terms of the other priorities. The audio and visual content services policy, we're also looking at submission of the white paper, on the audio and audiovisual content services policy to Cabinet for approval. And this will also entails public consultation, which will be then followed by submission for Cabinet for final approval. We'll also submit the EC Amendment Bill to Cluster and Cabinet for public consultation approval. Then the 4R PMO, it's already commenced with implementing, developing the PC4R strategic implementation plan. We'll then focus on concluding stakeholder consultation and submitting the plan for implementation plan to Cabinet for approval. Then led by the SOE Oversight Branch, we'll finalize the business case for the State Digital Services Company Bill, as well as the business case for the State Digital Infrastructure Bill. And these will be prioritized to be finished in Q1 so that we can then start with actual drafting of the bills thereafter. Then in terms of the Post-Bank Amendment Bill, we've done a lot of work this already, but we just want to conclude public consultation here and submit to Cabinet for introduction to Parliament in this financial year. And then led by the Information Society and Capacity Development Branch, we will submit the framework on digital transformation, digital inclusion for approval, and also we will develop the implementation plan in this regard as well. Then just moving on to the next outcome, which is your focuses on all our digital infrastructure related projects. We will then look at facilitating the operations of the BRICS Institute for Future Networks. Here the focus is largely on resource mobilization and awareness from the public and private sector, looking at investment to operationalize the BRICS Institute for Future Networks. In terms of preparation for WRC 23, we will then conduct preliminary technical and regulatory studies to inform the draft country positions. This will entail making study contributions and participation in various ITR working groups. In terms of broadband, we'll focus on sustaining the provision of the current sites, the 970 sites that we've already connected. As the DG alluded, in terms of budget constraints, the challenge will be also to support new connectivity. But for now, we will then look at sustaining the connectivity that we already have in place. And then in terms of phase 2 broadband connectivity, we'll look at sourcing of funding for phase 2 as well as funding for household connectivity program. And in this regard, we're focusing on finalizing the application for the funding, submitting to National Treasury, as well as engaging stakeholders in terms of other funding options from public-private partnerships and so forth. Also, to ensure the optimal implementation of this project, we will then establish a PMO for the SA Connect Phase 2 project. In terms of the Digital Transformation Center, we're going to facilitate the operations of that center, and that's identifying and implementing key projects within the DTC. In terms of broadcasting digital migration, that's the last two targets there. You'll notice that targets have been pushed to conclude the BDM program within the 2021-22 financial year. So we'll look at coordinating and monitoring 840,000 subsidized installations in the 4 provinces. And as the DG also mentioned, that's already commenced. And also in terms of the voucher system, look at distribution of 3.2 million vouchers. We move on to the third outcome, which is to have in place a transformed digital society. Here we will look at partnerships, basically coordinating partnership programs to support the digital economy initiatives. This entails identifying suitable partners to implement identified international partnership programs. Another one that came in late, but quite a high impact one, is the hosting of the ICT Investment Conference, which will be hosted in Q2. Then looking at, in terms of the eGov strategy and roadmap towards digitalization of government services, we will then facilitate the implementation. This is done largely together with CETA, but the focus here will be on redesigning national e-service portal and prioritizing automation of key public-facing services. And in terms of the Digital and Future Skills Program, which stems from the Digital and Future Skills Strategy that was approved by Cabinet, we'll then focus on training of young people on pre-entry level digital skills, such as data science, analytics, and so forth. This is done in conjunction with NMEs. In terms of the last outcome, which then looks both at internally the portfolio itself and then the department, looking firstly at the portfolio, in terms of the entities providing oversight, we will then coordinate the implementation of recommendations from the analysis of the SOE performance reports. These are recommendations that are provided by the department that stem from the analysis of the reports to ensure the implementation thereof. We'll facilitate the tabling and submitting of the APPs of the SOEs. This includes the analysis for strategic alignment and then subsequent tabling. We'll facilitate the development of shareholder compacts for Schedule 2 and 3B entities. In terms of the ICASA performance management system, we will then table it in Parliament for approval. This entails finalizing the PFMS and obtaining approval, and then subsequent implementation. In terms of internally now within the department, we look at implementing and monitoring the workplace skills plan. That's a plan that's focused on capacitating staff members aligned to the mandate of the department. We will then also implement towards implementing our digital transformation strategy. We have an internal digital transformation strategy that's looking at moving at digitizing our current processes and systems, moving towards a paperless organization. So we'll continue with implementation thereof, and we'll ensure payment of all invoices within 30 days. That comes also, that's a repeat from last year as well. We've ensured that we pay all invoices within 30 days. And in terms of considering it's a new department, we'll have to also focus on marketing and branding of the new department. So we have in place an annual 2021-22 communications plan, which we will then implement and monitor the implementation thereof. Then still with this outcome, the last few targets deal with the having in place the monitoring development of the SOC's gender, disability, youth, and children responsiveness programs, as basically monitoring to see how the plans and priorities of the department as well as the entities align and are responsive to the national targets related to gender, disability, and youth and children. We'll also then develop the DCD integrated plan of action in support of the NSP on gender-based violence. In terms of stakeholder relations, we've revised our stakeholder relations strategy, which will then in line with the DCDT mandate. We will then coordinate implementation thereof. And then in terms of the district development model, we'll also develop the implementation plan for that. I think I'll hand back to you, or should I say hand back to the chair for the to the DG. There's this, just to unpack our progress on digital migration. We've considering it's rolled out in multiple provinces. We've just unpacked the sites that in terms of connectivity. So if I could just hand back at this point through your chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I then ask that we move to the next slide? With regards to the
Sorry,
migration,
Chair.
yes.
Migration, okay.
With regards to migration, may I ask then the colleagues from, and I don't see, Dr. Mutubi. Dr. Mutubi, can you take us through?
One of the things that we've undertaken to do with our service program.
Thank you, Chair. Subsequent to and good morning, honourable members, Chairperson. With regard to the digital migration, subsequent to the restructuring of the work of entities that we presented to you last year, Centec has now taken over the responsibility of managing installation process. The work that they have started in October 2020, which is governed by the service level agreement between themselves and USASA, to ensure that the work that is the target that is set and presented here to yourselves is well coordinated and managed. The department is playing its overall coordination of the program, led by the PMO and with the strategic leadership by the acting director general here. And I should indicate, Chair, that in February we finalized the integrated plan that we have reviewed, and that subsequent to that, the president has announced the timelines for the analog switch off, a work that we have very closely set ourselves targets to achieve and commenced as the president's pronouncement. Since the beginning of the month of March until now, we have switched off at least 32 analog transmitters. This is 19 in the Free State, followed by Northern Cape and Northwest. Chair, I should indicate that we are achieving this by ensuring very close monitoring. We are conducting daily meetings, running daily meetings led by the PMO and the acting director generals with technical teams, and also weekly meetings to ensure that entities account on the work that they are supposed to be doing on a weekly basis. But also importantly is to ensure that on a weekly basis we have target of transmitters that we need to switch off, that assist in streamlining the work on the ground, and that of entities to have those analog transmissions switched off, having serviced or migrated the households that require our subsidy, and encouraging those that rely on retail market. We have partnered in the awareness program with the broadcasters and the OVHD and multi-choice to supply those areas where there are households that do not qualify for subsidy. So that is the progress in terms of analog transmission services. We are targeting to finalize this work by end of March 2022, as the president has announced. And we're working very closely, Chair, because there are other issues that we have reported before relating to the distribution of voucher subsidy, so that we can cater for the outstanding estimated 3.2 million households. We are working very closely with the assistance of National Treasury and President's Operation Vulindlela, led by the DG as indicated earlier. those are some of the confidence that we have as the team that the work that we have started will be completed. And what we always do as part of, I think for the benefit and assistance of the committee members, is that we engage with districts and local municipalities to solicit support from those structures, because they work very closely with the households in their respective municipalities to raise awareness, to ensure that people encourage people to register, and also assist with the monitoring of quality of work that of the installations that we are carrying out. Next slide, if any, from the BDM. I think I've spoken to the issues of the implementation plans that we have developed, and that is also informed, and we are working with the entities to achieve the APP targets and assisting those entities to perform in that regard. I think that is that from the BDM point of view. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, through you, Chair, and DG, if I could just then complete this slide, perhaps before the CFO. It was just requested to provide some information on monitoring and reporting. So just to confirm that the department, we do have implementation plans in the form of operational plans, which basically unpack each quarterly target into monthly activities aligned to budget allocation. And then we then use these operational plans to undertake quarterly monitoring as well as monthly monitoring against all APP targets, which are supported by evidence, and then all challenges and corrective measures are identified, discussed at management forums for interventions and so forth, as well as then obviously submitted to Minister, and then as and when requested to the portfolio committee. And then we also, in a similar vein, we do extensive oversight engagements on all SOE deliveries. They're delivering on key priorities as well. Through you, DG, if I could move on to the financials for the CFO.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. My name is Joy Masemola, and I'll take you through the financial presentation. Chair, over the MTF, the department has been allocated 8.5 billion, and this 8.5 billion, it's as a result of a decrease from the baseline allocation of about 8%. And Chair, per program, this is the total budget that has been allocated to the department for 2021-22, the 3.7 billion. And Chair, you will notice that the bulk of the budget is going to program 4, which is SOE oversight, and also the ICT infrastructure support branches, because those branches have the budget allocation for the entities. Next slide. And then Chair, allocation per economic classification, cost of employees, it's allocated 304 million there, and goods and services is the 420 million. And part of the 420 million for 2021-22 financial year, there is 194.5 million that's earmarked, in fact, for the SA Connect broadband project. And over the MTF, this project, its allocation, it's amounting to 611 million, which is part of the 1.3 billion goods and services that's allocated to the department. And Chair, the transfers representing 73% of our total budget amounts to 2.9 billion for the 2021-22. So basically, most of our budget is going to the entities, and payments for capital assets is only allocated 22.8 million. Next slide. Okay, yeah, Chair, these are the transfers that we're making to the entities, and of importance is that for distribution costs for SAPO, in terms of the BDM, there's a 95 million that has been allocated in our baseline there, and also the USEF allocation for the Broadcasting Digital Migration Project amounts to 1 billion. Hopefully the switch of targets will be met by the end of the financial year, Chair. And also, Chair, the international membership fees that the department is affiliated to amounts to 39 million for 2021-22 financial year. Next slide. And then, Chair, on the Centec for dual illumination, there's 100 million that has been allocated for transfer to Centec, Chair. And in total, the transfers amounts to 2.9 billion, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, that then concludes our presentation. As indicated, we are facing those huge shortfalls, and as far as our critical programs, that would be related to the BDM, where we still have a shortage for the second phase of the voucher system, as well as then the SA Connect funding for the financial period. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, DG and your team. Honorable members, we can then engage with the presentation. Honorable Nyambi, you can start.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start by welcoming the presentation done by the department. It's giving us a sense to understand the situation. I'll start with what was I'll start with what is very positive from my side that I've picked from the department, that I think if they can improve on that, it can go a long way to assist us. I don't want to take it for granted. I want to give credit where it's due. Not so long ago, some 2 weeks ago, Chair, the department was in my municipality. The minister and the deputy president of the country, they with their outreach program, digital outreach program, where 2 schools benefited when it comes to this issue of cyber labs. They got 60 laptops with internet connectivity. And what made me to be of interest to me is the 34 young people who completed cell phone repair programs. And it made me to realize that probably if it can be done to a lot of these municipalities, not only in Mpumalanga, but in some other areas. And those are issues that I thought, Chair, when they're coming to present to the NCOP, they focus on those issues. It's making us, and I was part of that program. I attended it out of the invitation from the department, knowing that I'm an MP residing in this municipality. And when you see young people happy, and it's not a secret that in almost all villages that we have been to South Africa, we almost see other people doing their cell phone repairs, but to see young South Africans being trained to repair cell phones that we're using, it's something that is of interest to me. Then coming to what they were presenting today, Chair, if they can maybe share with us any other serious critical challenges except the budgetary constraint in terms of the shortfalls, because that is what I'm picking up, and want to get in and assist where there's some problems, and where we see some challenges, we play our role in doing oversight, because ours is not only to criticize, but it's also to assist, and that is why they don't have that footprint in our provinces, as it has been said by DG, and we are the relevant house when it comes to that, to make it a point that we look at what they are doing. The second question, Chair, is the issue of the bills that they'll be presenting, so that we can be able to do a meaningful oversight. I missed the time frame. If they are saying they will be coming with, they'll be submitting the post office one amendment bill, and we can have it till the end of the financial year and it's not being introduced, and we're not even looking at them to say, but you promised that you'll be presenting this thing in September or August. Now we're getting to the end of September. What is happening? So that they're on their toes, they're attending to that issue. The other question, Chair, that I don't think it's something that has to be presented as if they have to do it. It's a matter of must. President was very clear about it, Usona, and even the very same department, not this year, not last year, not even last that other year, the issue of payment of 100% of valid invoices within 30 days. Once they say they're going to do that, my next critical question is, what is the current situation? It means our people are still not paid in 30 days. Because once you are making it part of what you want to do, I'm interested in understanding what is the current situation when it comes to people that are submitting invoices that are valid, 100% fine. It means we are killing these small up and coming business people that are trying. The last part, Chair, it's for them to, out of the 4 outcomes that they've presented, so that when we move along, especially us as people that are residing in provinces, I've seen when they're talking about the digital migration, they were talking about 4 provinces. And I asked myself, what is the situation about the other 5 provinces? And if they can share with us so that we understand, because they are in the National Council of Provinces presenting to the Select Committee, and we're representing all these provinces, of course, in South Africa. And once you see 4, then the next critical question is, what will be happening about the other remaining 5? When are they going to be benefiting to such a program? But otherwise, it's giving us a sense of understanding what they will be doing, and we are equal to the task in making sure that when they do right, we'll always give credit, as I've done, about what they've done in Khomazi municipality, when schools benefited, when young people were trained. But whenever they are making us to fail, because the issue of the digital economy, it's key in what we're trying to achieve as a country. And the president was very clear that the economic recovery of the country, it's linked to what they are doing. My last one, Chair, it's the issue of the spectrum. I'm still confused. Are they in court, winning in court, or there's a plan somewhere that they might be winning it outside in terms of the engagement? And if you look at the outcomes that they are presenting, is it a viable option that they can achieve the 4 outcomes without the issue of the spectrum being concluded? That's my last question, Chair. Thanks a million, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nyambi. Honorable Bibi, and followed by Honorable Arnolds, and then Honorable Nana. Honorable Bibi.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. You'll pardon me, sir, I've got a terrible flu. Sad.
Yeah, I can hear that, Mama.
Okay, Baba. I will start with thanking the department with the presentation, and also share the same sentiments of what Baba Nyambi has alluded, and also to thank the department that their presentation, it shows that imisebenzi iyabonakala. Siyabonga. Chairperson, I've got two questions. First one will be, I've noted on your presentation that you have identified key priorities, including the following three, which is the first one is the digital migration project. The second one is SA Connect. And the third one is the legislation. Now, my question will be, what I want to know is whether these key priorities projects, are they fully funded or budgeted, and whether they have time, do they have time frames in terms of their completion? My second question, Chairperson, will be on page 15 of the annual performance plan. You stated under the medium-term expenditure that you'll be spending about 119 million for the 2021 and 2022 financial year on consultants of goods and services. Can the department tell me, can you please explain the reason for this huge amount on consultants? As you know that as a government, we are refraining for consultants. That's why we employ competent people in all the departments, so that we do away with these exorbitant funds that are paid to the consultants. Thank you very much, Chairperson. And those are my questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mama.
Okay.
Honorable Arnold.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning to the honorable members and to all the officials. Chairperson, yeah, thank you very much to the department for the presentation on the annual performance plan and the budget. Chairperson, the only thing that I can say to the department is that they must move with speed towards their vision of a digital connect South Africa. The impact of COVID-19 and the challenges on school children with regards to virtual learning has exposed our inability to deliver in this space. I just want to find out, Chairperson, in terms of the fit-for-purpose organizational structure, the merger of the two departments. When we last met, there was a date given that it will be concluded in 2023. So I just want to check now if that date is still the date when they will conclude with the merger of the two departments, and are they still on track in terms of that process? Then, Chairperson, also, I want to say that the department must move with speed. They must speed up the connectivity, especially for those communities in rural areas. Then on the licensing of the wireless open access network, The DG has mentioned that it will be concluded or in this financial year. I just want clarity and confirmation if that is the case, Chairperson. Then another matter that I want to, just in terms of the workplace skills plan to address the skills gaps in the department, if we can also just check in terms of the implementation and are they also on track with that process, Chairperson? And then if the department can just give us the status of the 5G policy. Yeah, I think that's all for now, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Arnold. Honorable Nana.
Very much, Chairman. Chair, my colleagues have really touched on a few issues that I wanted to speak to. Honorable Nyambi correctly, he has referred to the court action that relates to an interdicting the auction of a spectrum from going ahead. And I would really want to belabor the point, Chair, except to further ask the department if, in their opinion, what is it that they have done, of course, within their means and powers to prevent this court action. Because as we all know, as the committee, we've been talking quite a lot about the importance of opening up the spectrum and get going with the auction as soon as possible. So really, I would want to check with the department if the court action was preventable. If it was preventable, what is it that they did? What is it that they have done to try and prevent the court action? SA Connect, Chair. With regards to SA Connect, I do take Honorable Arnold's submission, point of view, and I support him. But Chair, I would want to propose, of course, with your approval, that we need to have a session set aside with the department taking us through SA Connect, particularly the pilot sites as announced by the minister a few years back. I'm raising this, Chair, because I have been keeping a close eye on the pilot project in OR Tambo here in the Eastern Cape. And not so much progress has been made. And I would really urge you to consider calling back the department, and it gives us a presentation with clear timelines with regards to SA Connect. And probably they should also give us a diagnosis where things have gone wrong, how do they hope to rectify those, and then what kind of contingency plans are in place just in case, things go south. Hey, Mangala, iyandikhathaza ke sisi laa nto yenzeke ezi-post office. Last time nani lapha enhlanganisweni yekomiti, I raised the issue of what I deem as inhumane treatment of people standing in queues for 350 rand at our post offices. You gave me it. But I'm afraid, a few days ago, I was driving past the post office here in Grahamstown with my wife. And I said, Unonkubela said, there will be no more queues. Look at this. I know 350 rands are coming to an end, probably in May. So the congestion will be a bit eased. But the post office has got other functions, as you know. Going to a post office to renew your vehicle license, you have to sit in a queue for about an hour sometimes. I get a sense that our post offices, are still too manual, are still in the 19th century, and things are moving at a snail's pace. I don't expect you to respond to this, but please can you look into it? Because the reality out there is not what you as the department is telling this committee. And the two issues, Chairperson, I don't want to ask the department to preempt. Maybe let me drop this one. The last one, Chairperson, as you will know, that the big team in South Africa, Kaizer Chiefs, is playing in the big league, CAF Champions League. So we're not really bothered about PSL, these small things. We were playing in the big league, CAF Champions League, and we've just won 4-0 last Saturday. But
you are muted with your big team. Your big team is muted.
It's sabotage. Somebody muted me. So the big team
is Honorable Arnold who's muting you because of the issue of big team.
Yeah. He's probably an Orlando Pirates fan. So yeah, really on a serious note, Chairperson, over the weekend, we learned that SABC will not be broadcasting Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns games. But it was then said, if you've got open time, you can then see the games. I want to check if the department is aware of this, and if yes, what informs this, because if people who are paying TV licenses just like everybody else are not given an opportunity to watch their football teams, and only those with open time decoders are given that opportunity. I'd really like to check if the department is aware of it, and if yes, not informs it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mudisa.
Chairperson, and let me greet the department and my colleagues, honorable members that are in the meeting. Chairperson, I think most of the questions covered. However, I have a question. Let me start with, I've noticed that indeed, really the department are making every effort to ensure that ICT services are accessible and are available to all South Africans, especially during this time of the new normal. really the department is doing very well on that. I will just be like Honorable Nyambi to say, let's give credit where it's needed, and then if there's no credit, we must not give them the credit, but they are doing very well. However, my question is, what is the point of these services being accessible when the most of our people cannot afford them? In other words, what are the practical during this, practical doing to ensure that cost of the communication cater affordable, because really you'll find, more especially in our rural areas, people cannot afford. Most of our people, since this they are not working, but they need to communicate. So we need to check with the department the cost of communicate. Is it possible for them to make sure that it can be affordable? Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mudise, and thanks a lot to honorable members. I don't know whether I might have missed any other member. From the list I'm checking here, it seems you were the last one. DG.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, as well as to the honorable members. And we thank you very much for the encouraging words that we've received from the honorable members where we are thriving. And certainly, I think where we are found to be amiss, this is something that we would like to improve upon. Honorable Nyambi, on the issue regarding the cell phone repairs, certainly we want to do this across the country, both as part of our the digital economy master plan, but previously, as we said, that was one of the programs that we were encouraged to do. Because of the interest that we have from both youth as well as the SMMEs. So it is not only in Mpumalanga, we are doing it across the country. I think DDG Baki, or if we have DDG Kadebe, they could possibly come in and unpack that even more. Whilst we're waiting for them, I will then move to the next, the post office amendment bill. No, our intent is that we would finalize the public comments within June and then submit it back to cabinet, hopefully in July. And thereafter, we're looking basically in the third quarter to present it to Parliament, Honorable Nyambi. So this is not, those are our timeframes, but we're hoping that if we're able to shorten them, because we also understand, there are local government elections and other parliamentary programs. And so we would want to fast track that, owing to also the urgency of it, because that bill also is talking to the separation of the post bank as well as the post office. And we also don't want to delay that as well. I know that honorable members did not touch on this, but maybe just to indicate that as we amending the post office, as well as looking at the corporatization, with regards to the corporatization itself, we have already engaged the Reserve Bank with regards to the license, and we're also working earnestly to then ensure that we finalize that in order to position the post bank It already has 8.1 customers, so it is quite competitive in the space, and we wouldn't want that to lose that momentum with any further delays. It certainly has the largest footprint as well within the country, and that is something that we need to leverage on. And as we work on that, both, as we know, the post office is also working on its turnaround plan, and us as the department, we would also be providing a team of experts to actually assist them in addressing their business offering. Then that also talks to making sure that it's digitized and looking at the smartness. Then I'm still going to come back to Honorable Nana on the questions with regards to the queues at the post office. And then similarly then our programs related to SMME development, digital training are across the country wide. And the focus for us certainly is always targeting also those provinces that are categorized as rural provinces, and obviously they would have a very high unemployment rate. So the intent is then to give the youth in the main, but we're not restricting it, to give then society the necessary digital skills for the 4IR in order for them to just be able to advance and to have some, to contribute to households and assisting their families. And one of those is also then linked to the digital migration, which Honorable Bebe's asked about. What we are doing in the in fact, across the country, we are training installers to give them then the necessary skills for them to become installers, as we would know that this would be really needed in this financial year. So at the moment, we've got about 173 installers. I just want to get the exact number that we have already trained with Centec, and we are also using the very same installers to then assist the country with the digital migration. Sorry, it's 187, these what we now call them as SMMEs. And over and above that, our program then says some of those we would then assist them with entrepreneurship skills so that they actually become some form of a installation company or resource center. I think Dr. Mutubi can talk to that. And we've already established a few of those centers around the country, and that has empowered the SMMEs. So 72 have been trained in Northwest, 75 in the Free State, 36 in Northern Cape. We're currently now also taking in the new group in Limpopo as well as in Mpumalanga. And as I indicated, this is what we are doing across the country. So we would be doing it prior to then as we move to those provinces for the migration. And then, Honorable Bebe, yes, our key priorities remain amongst those, the broadcasting digital migration. This project, as you know, has long been delayed, but this year we've made significant progress and we continue to do so. Our intent is that we want to switch off the country by March 2022, honoring the president's announcement in the State of the Nation address. And where we are now, we're also trying to move that time frame even forward and trying to see if we can't then achieve the migration in terms of the household getting, especially in terms of either getting the vouchers or the devices. And then we want to leave then the last couple of months focusing on the restacking so that we can free up the spectrum. The BDM, Honorable Bebe, and also honorable members, is important because if we're able to free up that spectrum, we would then be able to release it for the much needed 4G and 5G programs, which is then linked to our broadband and the SA Connect project. The country we've seen, we want to advance it like other countries to bring in the 4IR capabilities and build on that, not just for our sector, but for many other sectors as well. We need this in terms of mining. We need it even from a governance perspective in terms of securities, putting up the necessary infrastructure in terms of security cameras and other smart devices. In terms of smart metering, where we're going to work with the provincial governments. And I think my colleague, as I said, DDG Baki, can talk to other 4IR programs that are literally beneficial for communities, for the municipalities, for government, even for the citizens themselves. You know, we would want to really build on that architecture. And all of this is just heavily reliant on us then freeing up this particular spectrum. And then with regards to the SA Connect, yes, the SA Connect program again remains our priority for this year. We have an ambitious target of 80% broadband access by 2024. At the moment, we've done 970 sites. We're focusing on the other 400 plus sites this year. And one of which, again, I'll come back to is what Honorable Nana talked about, back to the Eastern Cape on the OR Tambo district in terms of the broadband access. The biggest challenge for us is funding. As I indicated, that we have not received any additional funding, and the CFO can come in from government for the SA Connect, only for us to maintain the existing sites. But that does not deter us or stop us. We are then working in terms of with the private sector. Our entities are also looking at a PPP consortium with the private sectors to then try to reach out and to expand to those other areas as well. Over and above that, now and again, there are these calls for proposals. We continuously are submitting our applications for funding, additional funding, and we're also hoping that maybe during the medium-term budget adjustment period, we would then be able to get those additional funds. But for now, the focus is then on the household connectivity, again, in terms of the expansion of the SA Connect to then say connectivity to the households. And our focus is this pilot, if it is done well in the model in terms of the connectivity that we would do in various technological applications for the townships as well as in the rural areas. If whatever that is the outcome of that pilot, we would then be able, in terms of best cases, then expand on it and then apply it in other areas as well. So I'm not so sure, CFO, if you would maybe want to come in on the funding, whether or not these are fully funded, but the legislations that we have put, that one, I know that the budget is available for it, but CFO, maybe you could talk to those pointers for now. I'll just take a break and then I'll come back for the other questions. Over to you, CFO.
Thank you very much, ADG. ADG, what you have indicated is correct, and I must say that the bills that have been planned for the financial year, all of them have been budgeted for fully, and also ADG, as you indicated, that the budgetary constraints in terms of the BDM projects. And we're working with National Treasury in terms of addressing those challenges. Then, Honorable Chair, there was also another question relating to consultants, and which is on page 15 of the document. Chair, that is program 1, consultants, and the total of the goods and services amounts to, sorry, Chair, I'm just trying to go there quickly. Yes, the total of the total budget of the goods and services amounts to 119 million. And if I can just explain mainly, it's because under administration, we have, as we are supporting the department, there's audit costs that needs to be paid, there's security services that is budgeted under administration in terms of the cleaning contract, all those, Chair. And with regards to the consultants under administration, on page 16, it's only indicating 7.3 million there, Chair. And the department has been taking that drive to reduce the consultants figure expenditure in terms of this. The bulk of the consultant amount in terms of the total budget is budgeted under policy, which is program 3, and they have budgeted about 10 million there because we are about to go out on tender to appoint a team of experts to assist with the drafting of the legislation, the bills, because we do not have those expertise in the department. So in terms of the consultants, that is the a program that has the highest figure of the budgeted amount, Chair. And then, Chair, just quickly, there was also another question relating to 30 days, whether it's indicating whether, or the fact that maybe because we put it in the APP, what is the current situation? Chair, we can comfortably indicate that the department does pay its invoices within 30 days. In fact, the average turnaround time in terms of the invoices is about 7 days. So this is one matter that the department takes it serious. It is included in the APP because it's a compliance matter that is also linked to the performance agreement of the Minister, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I'm
still continuing.
Ms. Baji will also come in.
Yes, Ms. Baki will come in, and as on with regards to the 4IR program, as well as then the cell phone repairs around the country.
Thank you, Acting DG. Thank you for that question. Acting DG, only for these purposes, I know I've joined using a phone because of my connectivity this site. Good morning. Just in terms of our activities, I'll try and switch it on. I know this thing. In terms of our activities as the 4IR, we are currently conducting consultative workshops with everyone in South Africa. When I say everyone, just now at 9, we had a consultative workshop with the banking sector, SABRIC, and Land Bank representatives. So we have the sessions for the next 3 months. Almost all of our sessions are virtual, except wherein people have requested that they be physical. Then we'll make them physical, and those have only happened here around Gauteng. So we're taking people through the 4th Industrial Revolution report itself, just as the recommendations, and we're saying how are those recommendations supposed to be implemented by various clusters of government, one, and also where possible by sectors of industry and academia. So we've done it with 8 provinces, save for one, because we haven't received any confirmation from this one province. And then we've done with almost all government departments, except for 4, which we're meeting with next week. So each and every time we meet with stakeholders, we receive more information, and then we say, okay, how do we improve and make sure the 4IR programs are implemented? So that is the one thing that we're doing. The second part we're developing a monitoring and evaluation theory of change framework, which we will be consulting on as well at this particular point. In terms of the cell phone repair program, DG Upujabu is the one that will know the detail, as we are involved very high level with Charles, not each and every province. We got involved as and when we're invited.
Thank you very much with that. The Honorable Arnold's Chair, as we continue, whilst we're waiting for DDG Khadebe to come in on the cell phone repairs across the country, Honorable Arnold did ask the question related to the merger of the two departments. I would like to hand over to DDG Manzini for that.
DDG Manzini.
I'm trying to unmute here. My apologies. Am I audible?
Yeah,
yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, DG. Maybe I also, before I answer on the structure, I also wanted to reiterate what the CFO spoke about regarding the issue of the 30 days, that it's something that will continue to be there in our APP, like in most departments, because it's something that we need to keep on reporting, because if we lose it, it's not going to be visible for reporting purposes to say how far we are. But like CFO has said, I echo the same sentiments. We are doing very well. Actually, the average is 7 days, like she has said. And on the issue of the structure, we have made significant progress in the organization. We developed, we currently operating on an interim structure that has been approved by DPSA. And while they are giving us space to come up with a final structure. We have made a significant progress. We have developed our service delivery model, which is the SDM. We have also developed the organizational structure, and we have consulted with the unions as it is a requirement. They have given their inputs. Actually, yesterday we were at the DBC, where they have actually adopted our structure, which is today, as we speak, parallel to this meeting, is being presented at Mango. It will then be presented at Exco. The only challenge that we are having now is that if you look at the current structure that we're having, the issue of the levels, because if you say level 13, level 14 chief director, you need to conduct job evaluation for you to be able to confirm. So currently, it's only DPSA that can give us that particular tool. They used to use Equate system. They moved to evaluate, but currently there is no structure at DPSA, and we are engaging DPSA to advise us on what tool we need to use to be able to determine the correct level. We are hoping that we will finalize this whole process by the end of May, to be able to then send it to DPSA. And on the question and the structure that we are having, the reason it took so long was also to make sure that we have a structure that talks to the strategy and the mandate of the organization, a structure that is fit for purpose. So that is where we are, and there's a lot of work that has been put in, and once it is ready, it will be then made visible. Thank you, teacher.
DG. DG, you are muted.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, with regards to the status of the 5G policy, just to indicate that we have a draft, and there's, as according to the APP, that we hope to then have this finalized this year. So those hopefully are the questions then that were asked by Honorable Arnold. Coming to Honorable Nana, with regards to the first one, on the spectrum, there's a lot that we've been trying, that we have made in terms of interventions. From the beginning of this year, we've had engagements with each of the parties that are now in court to try to avert, as I indicated, the issue of the spectrum. We've had 3 engagements with the regulator to also again to see what we can try to mediate on. We've also tried to also speak to other industry groups as well to see if we can find a solution, and also engaging obviously within government structures. Currently, right now, ICASA is in mediation talks with the parties that are in court. Our department is part of that to then try to find a solution with a settlement, Chair. There are talks, I think, in what we've observed, in some, there seems to be a compromise, but there are still then sticky issues that still needs to be resolved. The minister continues to engage then the parties, even outside of those discussions, just to say, please do try mediate or try to negotiate in good faith for the purposes of the country for us to move forward. So that is what we have been trying to do. But more than anything else, for us as a department, we're trying to give them the good confidence to say we are releasing this particular spectrum, and that's why we are forging ahead with the migration from analog to digital. On the pilot project that was done at OR Tambo, yes, we did face some challenges on that. I think USASA, if maybe they'd be given an opportunity to come and present to the select committee, we would then be able, along with the SAA team, SA Connect team, sorry, to then come and give you the clear timeframes and timelines with regards to our SA Connect project. But as according to the announcement made by the minister, the USASA will then be focusing on the OR Tambo region with regards to the broadband connectivity sites. We are also working with the provincial government to then try to move this forward, this project forward as well. And then with regards to the post office, Honorable Nana, yes, the queues remain our challenge. The post office, what they were focusing on, as I indicated even in my last discussion, was to try to migrate the customers from getting their social grants physically to them getting a card system. And the beneficiaries, the challenge is that the beneficiaries of social grant, they do. It's the special grants that are not, because this is a temporal situation, and therefore the card system, for even for them as clients, we've been trying to raise awareness to say for the first transaction, it is free, but there's a bit of reluctance or fears of bank charges. So we try to communicate that, because we want to then migrate everyone to use then a card system. There has been a slight increase with regards to the Mzansi cards, as I said, for those who are the grant holders. But certainly, we want to, and also the post office has indicated that there were increases in the queues between April and May for these special grants, and that is something that we're still battling. We have to consider we're still battling to manage in terms of the queues for the. On the SABC, Honorable Nana, I'm not even going to comment on the Kaizer Chiefs issue. I think it's a national travesty. But moving on ahead with regards to what the SABC can broadcast, this is a misinformation, Honorable Nana. There is no obligation that if you must have a TV license in order to get the STB decoders. We also had noted that message being flighted and somewhere, and we had discussions immediately with the SABC as well as also media to try to redress that. That's not an obligation, but however, we still want to encourage all citizens to please pay their TV license, because the public broadcaster depends on those TV license fees in order to be able to give a very appetizing entertainment as well as information and content online. So we want to encourage all TV licenses holders to please pay their TV license. I mean, all TV households to please pay their TV license, but it is certainly not a condition for the BDM. Then the last question from Honorable Modise. I'm not so sure, DDG, would you like to take that? DDG Manzini.
Thank you very much, DDG.
I'm sorry, DDG. Before you come in, with your permission, Chairman, I noted that there is Zandile Ngubeni who has posted an apology for the Deputy Minister. Now, I wanted to check who's Zandile Ngubeni, and is it the correct way of doing things? Is it correct to simply post the Deputy Minister's apology on the group instead of taking that through the chairperson of the committee? Thanks, Chair. I'm sorry, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much. The apology of the Deputy Minister has been forwarded to the Secretary of the committee. He does have it. If we might not have said it when we were speaking about apology, have just been missed, but it was forwarded sometimes last week. Yeah. Thank you very much. DDG Manzi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. The WSP was developed in the organization in consultation with all the branches. And the reason for doing that is that branches deal with the core business of the organization, and they were in a position to assist us in identifying the core capacity building needs aligned to the mandate, and specifically the focus on the 4 IR related skills, because we wanted to address the issue of the skills gap. And our WSP, I'm glad to confirm here that it was submitted to MIC-SITA and also to PSITA. And we are also monitoring it on a quarterly basis through our training reports. And also we do a mid-year evaluation to see that if we are still on the right track, and also if there is impact regarding that. Thank you.
DG, are we fine?
Maybe DDG Baji, it's DDG Manzini, because I see that DG is muted. DDG Baji may be on the question of the cost to communicate, if DDG Baji is here, if it was not answered. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay. DDG Baji.
I'm trying to unmute, Chair. Sorry about that. There's a slight delay. On the cost to communicate program, Chairperson, and then we have the department itself is planning to do work insofar as the report that came from the Competition Commission. This, in the main, they are doing it with ICASA. you may recall that ICASA received a policy directive from the former Minister a couple of years ago to effectively deal with the issue of data costing. So since the report of the Competition Commission was published in 2019, there is a roadmap that has been developed by policy as to how effectively should cost to communicate for data be reduced. And this is directed at ICASA itself as to how they must do it. So in this respect, I as far as we are aware, in terms of the briefings, ICASA is thoroughly engaged on it and have actually maybe, I know CFO last year, they've asked for additional funding in order to deal with the cost of data to communicate. That is directed and guided, not directed, guided by the roadmap that was developed internally within TCDT.
Thank you very much, DG. DG? Okay.
Yes, no, thank you.
All right. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think then those were the questions from our side, unless maybe there's something that I might have missed. Let me also check with my colleagues as well. If there's any.
I think you have covered. There are some areas that we think we might want to have a look at it as the committee that were raised by members, more especially the issue around the post office bill, so that it also assists us in terms of planning from the select committee. If those time frames are in such a way that they are made available to us, then it will assist us so that in our planning for this financial year, then we're able to juggle in that bill. Because from where we're standing, it's quite a very critical bill that will assist in terms of separation cost bank. The other issue that I think we also need a session on its own is the issue around the SA Connect and the challenges that you raised in relation to the budgeting. From the committee side, we'll also have to look at how. Those are the key areas that we think we'll need to look at sometimes. Unless otherwise there is any other member that think there's something amiss, we'll still have the department to come. The issue of the public broadcaster as well, we'll have sometimes with the SABC. Long we haven't been having engagement with them, I think we'll try and locate where we can put them in so that they come to the committee. Unless otherwise there is something that I missed, I should think we can.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Nyambi.
Your summaries are very appropriate, so I second it.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will release you, DG, and your team. Thank you very much. Like we indicated, there are key areas that we would want you to come and account on. We'll keep on monitoring, keep up the good work on the issues of SMMEs and cell phone repairs. We wanted to move across the provinces. As you know, we're provinces. If young people are empowered, we are happy as the committee because they are the ones that are. Thank you very much. We are releasing DG and your team.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. And certainly we look forward then to the next sessions. Have yourselves a blessed Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madia.
Yes, Chair.
Is Asgar in?
Yes, he is, Chair.
We can start with our own issues, if there are issues, in terms of the minutes and any other matter.
Yes, Chair. We have circulated the budget vote report of the Department of Public Enterprises to members. I don't know if members had a chance to have a look at it. This was from last week's engagement. If members are ready to consider that report, and then we've also got minutes of the 12th of May. Those are the two issues, Chair.
Let's start with the minutes of the 12th of May. We are presenting the minutes to the committee for the committee to adopt.
Chair, I received the minutes on time and I went through with the minutes. So I move for the adoption.
Honorable Mudise move for the adoption. Anyone to second?
I second, Chairperson.
Honorable Bibi seconds. Our apologies that your voice is not good. We hope that you'll be fine soon. Thank you very much. We have also circulated the report on the public enterprise. Have we received the report? When Honorable Bibi's voice is not working, I've got problems. Honorable Bibi.
Yeah, no, I understand. No, the report of our last meeting for public enterprise, I move for adoption.
Honorable Mudise moves for adoption. Honorable Bibi.
Okay, Chairperson, I support.
You second. Thank you very
You
much.
second, yes. Okay.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mudise, I'm now handing over to you to deal with your report. Asga, you are welcome.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are the one who you are the one who gave that voice to Honorable Bibi Aska.
Apologies.
Because it started last week. Your voice was not good. Now you have shifted it to Honorable Bibi. You are
Aska,
welcome,
don't do that.
and Kobas, you are welcome. Honorable Mudise, I'm handing over.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And let me greet again, honorable members. And I know it is not normal for usual, we are not doing this, honorable members. We requested the Honorable Matibe to use his slot to adopt the report for last week, because next week, Tuesday, it will be the debate of environment. And remember yesterday we were supposed to have our meeting at 2 o'clock, but unfortunately the very same members of the committee that were debating on agriculture, and then our time overlapped until we postponed the meeting. Even next week, Honorable Nyambi, we are not sure that we are going to have a meeting, because of we have seen that we will be debating, the very same committee will be debating. That's why we postpone our meeting even for next week. We are not going to have a meeting. We'll have a meeting that week, the following week. So members will bear with me that I think it's, I apologize for doing that. And we cannot postpone the debate, and we cannot debate before we adopt the report. So that's why we are doing that today. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Aska, I don't know, did you send the report to honorable members on time? Because
Yes,
the other thing is that
Yes, Chairperson, the report and the minutes were sent out last week already.
to honorable members.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, we did receive.
Yes, we received.
Okay. Honorable members, let me start with the minutes. We put the minutes of department, the annual performance plans for Department of Environment and Forestry before the committee for perusal and adoption.
I move for the adoption, Chairperson. Honorable.
Okay. Any
I
second?
second, Chairperson. I second, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bibi, Honorable Matibe. Then the report, did you receive the report on time again? And then you wanted to change anything from the report, or the report, is it fine or what? I put the reporting before the committee for adoption.
The report is fine, and the request that we did to the department to forward the responses in writing, they have done, and I move that.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Matibe. Any seconder?
I second, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The report and our minutes for last week have been adopted. So we have concluded the business of our committee. And thank you for allowing me to come in while it is a Department of Enterprise. Thank you very much. This is the end. I hand over back to Honorable Matibe to close his meeting.
Chairperson, my meeting was already.
Thank you.
It was good.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chair.